All right, listen up. If you've made it this far, you're either very interested in magical artifacts, or you've already broken one and are desperately looking for answers. Either way, welcome to the Artificer's Vault, where we don't deal in legends or theories, we deal in practical application. This is a place for makers, tinkerers, and people who actually use magical gear, not just gawk at it. Every artifact, every enchantment, every strange little trinket that adventurers like you shove into their packs. Someone built it, someone enchanted it, and someone had to figure out why it failed catastrophically when used improperly. That someone is usually me. I'm the Vaultkeeper, and I've spent more time studying, fixing, and surviving magical artifacts than most mages spend picking out their robes. If it exists, I've either built one, broken one, or been hired to clean up after someone who definitely should not have been trusted with one. So if you want to know how to actually use the tools of the trade without getting yourself turned into an inconvenient pile of ash, stick around. And since we're starting this whole thing off, it only makes sense to begin with the most commonly misused, misunderstood, and mistreated artifact in existence: the Bag of Holding. A brilliant bit of magic, a game changer for any adventurer. And yet, somehow, I have personally witnessed more incidents involving bags of holding than cursed swords, unstable wands, and misfired fireballs combined. Now, for those of you who have managed to make it this far without one, let's go over the basics. A bag of holding is a spatial compression marvel, a pocket dimension sewn into a simple cloth or leather bag. Holds up to 500 pounds but weighs no more than 15 pounds. Put things in, pull things out. Make your traveling companions deeply question what else you've been storing in there. It's practical, efficient, a must-have for anyone who hauls around more than they can carry. But, and this is where most of you start making mistakes, it is not a flawless, bottomless pit. Overload it, you break it. Puncture it, you definitely break it. And if it does break, everything inside gets scattered into the astral plane. Gone, just poof. Hope you weren't storing anything sentimental. There's some air in there, but not a lot. I know at least 3 smuggling operations that ended in absolute disaster because someone forgot how lungs work. Also, if you store your ally in one, don't expect them to still like you. That is, if they wake up before they run out of air. I swear, if I have to say this one more time, no putting a bag of holding inside another bag of holding. No shoving it into a portable hole. No thinking, oh, I'll just be clever and stack extra-dimensional storage. You will rip a hole in the fabric of reality, and you will get sucked into the astral plane, and I will not be coming to get you. Who invented it? Now that's a good question. Theories abound. Some say it was the gnomes, others swear by dwarven artificers, and a few lunatics insist it was a wizard. But I have a hard time believing that, considering wizards tend to forget basic survival necessities like carrying rations. Personally, I think it was an artificer like me, someone practical, someone who got tired of carrying 6 different toolkits across a dungeon, someone who understood that efficiency is the foundation of true genius. Before you reach inside, make sure you know what you're grabbing. The bag doesn't just open like a normal sack. You have to focus on the item you want before reaching in. Get distracted or fail to think it through, and you might end up pulling out something far less helpful. The last thing you want is to reach in for a healing potion, only to grab something deadly, like a rusty goblin dagger or an old uncorked vial of basilisk blood. I've seen it happen, and trust me, no one enjoys that kind of surprise. More importantly, respect the craftsmanship. A bag of holding isn't just some enchanted sack. It's arcane engineering at its finest. If you mistreat it, if you get careless, then frankly, you deserve whatever happens next. And finally, if you ever come across a broken one, leave it alone. A ruptured bag of holding is not something you can just stitch back together. The pocket dimension inside has collapsed, and poking around in that mess is a surefire way to lose more than just your fingers. I will not be responsible for what happens if you decide to get curious. All right, that covers the basics. But if you still have questions, I suppose that's to be expected. Artifice is a lifelong study, after all. Ask your questions, share your theories, or if you've got a particularly entertaining cautionary tale about ignoring these warnings, leave it in the comments below. That way, at least someone might learn from it. And if you're the kind of seeker who enjoys unraveling the mysteries of magic, well, you know where to find me. There's always another artifact to dissect, another enchantment to refine. So, subscribe to the channel, keep your wits sharp, and treat your magical gear with the respect it deserves.